tutorial. This time we'll be looking at the same character, but from the back. Again, for this character, we're not making her overly muscular. We're kind of giving her just a slim, sleek sort of figure. You know, maybe she does a lot of running, so she's got a low body fat percentage without getting really exaggerated large muscles. So, we'll just jump right into it. I'm going to draw a small circle, like I always do. Doesn't have to be perfect. It is just a placeholder. I roughly want it to be the same size as my other head though, so I'm just gonna bring it up a little bit. And I'm gonna move my circle over because it's too close to the edge. Next, I am going to put in my center line to balance my character off of. There we go. From there, I like to just still throw in the jaw even though we're looking at him from behind. Go. Dropping in the shoulder line just below our chin. And again, I'm just trying to keep the ribs here relatively the same width as the head. And trying to keep them symmetrical. Like so. Put some small shoulder lines just inside of the ribs, under our shoulder line. Some little shoulder circles here. Then kind of angled underneath of them is where our shoulder blades will drop in. Kind of clean that up a little bit. Then we're going to put in our hip line. And again, I'm sort of trying to exaggerate the overall length of this character's stomach. So that is why my hips are going to be a little bit lower than what they normally would go at. Now I will put in the hips. I'm trying to just make the hips just barely wider than our rib cage. That way she still keeps it really slick and slim profile. Then I'm just going to mark out our unmovable areas like so. Adding a slightly concave line here over our center line just to show that she's got curve. Put this like this. Just following the rib line down a little bit, and then we can attach it with some concave lines like so. From there, I just want to make sure that my hips are relatively even. So it just needs to poke out a little bit more. And I'll put in my hip sockets into my feet. And then roughly the middle point, I can drop in a line for my knees, which I will then plot out with some ovals. Then go ahead and draw little triangles with the heel points. And now we'll put in our thighs, which we don't want to make too terribly thick here because she's an athletic character. Keeping the thighs thickest at the tops and bringing them down and in around the knees. Use little lines like this around your knee joint. That way it sort of is plotting out the little tendons and stuff in there. And then since we're looking at her from behind, we're going to see both bulges of the calf muscle. I'm just going to put that in. And again, I'm trying to make a smooth transition between my thigh and my calf. So I'm not trying to just have the thighs and calf like this. I'm trying to connect them like that. So it makes it a little bit smoother of a transition there. Makes it look a little bit softer. Because even though this character is pretty skinny, we still want her to be relatively soft. From there, we'll add the glutes. Same as always, kind of flat up near the middle and top, but then it really curves hard at the bottom. And we'll give the tiniest little bump for where the glutes are here, since she's got defined glutes, but they're not huge. So we're just gonna give the tiniest little bump so she's not quite so sort of stick skinny. And we will put in our elbows and arms, elbow joints falling just under the ribs, hands roughly the same height as our shoulders. And I'm just going to drop in my traps and arms. The forearm is going to be hidden behind our main portion of our arm here, so drop that in like that. And there we go. So next we will throw in the neck. Get rid of the jawline here. And her chest is small, so we're not going to see it from back here. So just throw in the ears right here. And there we go. So now I'm just going to, just real quick, make sure my character is basically the same height as my other one. Close enough. Now we will begin the line art. So I'm just going to go in an order of operation that feels most natural to me. You can kind of do whatever order you want. We're just tracing out the shapes and lines that we plotted out in the construction portion, so for this we're kind of trying to still follow the rib line a little bit before it just tapers off into the pits. She doesn't have very defined lats because she's not super muscular, she's just skinny. And from here, put this. Well, that arm's kind of scary looking, so fix it a little bit. Still trying to give her slightly thickened looking shoulders there. I'll just even these up a little bit. I don't want one too much lower than the other. From there we can throw in these. I don't want to exaggerate that curve that much. There we go. From there, I'm gonna put I am gonna start the hips again because the glute portion, even though we have them coming out ever so slightly, they're not gonna get too much in the way of my hips here. So then I'm just gonna add the ever so slight bumps, like so. Add in my glutes. I will bring my lower back muscles down just slightly. Then I will attach these with some slightly concave lines here so it keeps her core tight. Then I will attach my thighs. line a little bit smaller though. I don't want it to be so thick because we just barely want it peeking over. Oops. Then we can add in our knee detail up by the calves. Into our feet placeholders. Like that. Straighten this out a little bit. And there we go, there is our athletic girl from the back. In the next tutorial, we are going to look at her from the side. That way we can still plot out her curves and overall shape while still keeping that sort of slick, thin, perky sort of athletic feel. So hopefully that was helpful for you, and I will see you in the next one.